Hi, Michelle here with mycrazyworkout.com. I am not dressed for an exercise video today, but I'm going to talk to you about the sandbag that I use in a lot of my videos. I use the Ultimate Sandbag. It is my favorite one. I've looked at a lot of them. This is actually the second bag that I have gotten from them. The first one that I had was black, and it was more of like a mesh type material and a cloth, and the handles started to tear on it. So I ended up replacing it, and they have gone to the vinyl. They've also changed the inside bags. This is the outer shell. There's bags that go with it, and they used to be vinyl and they would crack, so they changed them to a cloth. I have tried everything with the sandbag. I did the sand, and what would happen would be it would fall out of the sandbag and it dropped down all over my sweaty body, so I'd have it on my arms and my chest and my face, and it eventually end up in my eyes. So that doesn't do anything but ruin your workout. So I decided to try different things with the sandbag. I first tried fish tank shells that go in the bottom, the gravel. And the more you use it and drop the bag and throw it around, the more they crush and become powder, and they'd sort of do the same thing. You just have a powdery mess everywhere. So my husband had a great recommendation. He said to try BBs. So I went to Walmart. This is the only bottle that they had, and they're copper, but I just did the stainless steel ones, and it's like a 5-pound jug of BBs. Now I use a 30-pound sandbag. The difference with the BBs though is they're denser. So the BBs, you might not need as many as you do for the sand. So get a couple bottles and try it. Now, when I did the BBs, the problem with it is here's the bag that the sand goes in. These are my 15 pounds of BBs. So you can see they don't take up a lot of space in the bag. So when you're trying to do your workout, they all roll to one end and your bag is lopsided. So what my husband had recommended was to grab a pool noodle. So, when I was at Target, I got a pool noodle, and he suggested putting the pool noodle in pieces and putting it on the bottom as a base, but that didn't remedy the fact that the BBs all pulled at the bottom of the bag. So I got creative. I decided to cut the pool noodles to fit into the bag, and that way it would give the bag structure so that the BBs all wouldn't end up at one end. So here is one of my bags from my sandbag. This is one of the shells, and you can see the pool noodle sits here and basically sits on top of the BBs. They still roll around, but they don't all pull on one end because the noodle takes up some space in the bag. So it's perfect. So let me show you how you're gonna do this. Nadine was the one that asked, because she heard me say I started using the BBs. You take a pool noodle, and the first thing you want to do is you want to measure, you want to measure your sandbag, or the shells. I already did that for you. It is the noodle, the size of a noodle that you'll need will be 16 inches, because the bag has a seam here. And what happens is it's got a double Velcro. So it Velcros shut to keep everything in, and then it Velcros one more time. So you have to make sure that the noodle is high enough that it still can shift around, but it's not right on top of that seam, and that way it'll fit into the sandbag perfectly. So it's 16 inches is what you need for your noodle. So what you do is you take your roller and you measure out your 16 inches, and you can mark it with a black Sharpie if you want. Then you take your bread knife and you just saw. I'm not going to saw this one because we're going to save this one for the swimming pool. I've already sawed them. So they're 16 inches long. you've got your BBs, and this is what they look like in the bag. I have, like I said, I didn't pay for the expensive copper ones. I just got the stainless steel ones. I think they're nickel plated or something. So your BBs go in the bag, or your noodle, whichever you want to put in there first. It doesn't matter because there's a nice little hole in the noodle that the BBs will go through. And then you seal your bag. And there you go. Now you've got your noodle in the bag to take up the space, and your BBs go all around it. So then you take it and you slip your noodle and your shell into the sandbag. And you put the other one in there. Zip up your sandbag. And you've got your sandbag ready to go. Now the nice thing about this is the BBs roll around. So they force you to engage your core to keep it stable. And the sand doesn't always do that. When you pack the sand in there, it sort of stays. So you get the best of both worlds. You can get the water for the bladders, but the BBs work really well. That way you can flip it up there and they roll real nice with the bag. All you need, one pull noodle, 16-inch lengths to go into your bladders. You need a bread knife to saw and cut your noodle, and you need the BBs to go into the shells. And like I said, make sure you get a couple and try it out, because these are heavier than the sand, so you may not need as much and you're gonna feel it. Get a couple bottles, try it out, and you can always add more or take some out. And that's all you need. I will have the link to the Ultimate Sandbag, which is the bag that I like to use. I will have that at the bottom of my page. And let me know what you think. Text me or send me a comment and tell me whether you like it or not, and if you try it and how it works for you.